Hello, welcome to a brand new episode of the Geek Press. After a small hiatus, sorry about that, Noah and Lewis are back at it again, talking about Space Jesus Ezra, talking about old comedians, going into depth about the current strike and the continuity of Ahsoka, as well as many other topics that we just seem to meander and ramble on about. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a positive rating across the board. Help us climb up those charts so I can get a sweet, sweet sponsorship deal. Thank you for listening. See you in a second.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, days and gnomes. My name is Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 62 of the Geek Press podcast. As always, my name is Luis Gutierrez, and I'm joined by my guest of rotating co-host. Today, you know him, you love him, Mrs. Jennifer Anderson. How you doing, Mrs. Anderson? How's life treating you?
Hey there, it's me, Jennifer Anderson. How are you?
Oh, you're?
Lord? You're? I'm being very honest. I don't know what she sounds like. I don't.
I said the first thing that came to mind, and I think she's the girl from the one from Friends,
She's
right?
from Friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and she had a movie career, and she still does stuff. But hey everybody, I'm Noah, the co-host. Each week, I am subjected to doing a celebrity impersonation. I think with maybe like a 7% success rate. I feel like that's generous.
Seems
Usually
about right.
Yeah, because every other impersonation usually just like I don't know the celebrity or I don't know how they sound.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do Jennifer Aniston, I was just like, I can't even say her last name right. I can't say it right. Anderson?
I don't know.
Anyways,
Roll the tape back.
No, I will not be doing that. But it's you know what, Lewis. Welcome to the podcast, the Geek Press podcast, where we talk about stuff. And I'm glad to be back on this with you. We took a 2-week hiatus, and I am glad because this is like this podcast is sort of like my excuse to catch up with you for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of missed that. So I'm glad we're back on that.
Yeah, same here. I've just been busy as shit with work.
I get that vibe.
Yeah. So let me give you guys.
What have you been listening
go
to?
ahead.
Okay, I was about to say our intro. What have you been listening to? What have you been watching? What media have you been consuming? What's been up with you?
Okay, so I am a big like Blink-182 fan. They're probably like one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite like musician group, And they recently got back together, like the OG crew, not like with Matt Skiba. They kicked him out. They're like, get out of here. We don't want you no more. We got our original guy back, which they kind of did him dirty. Like I will never not fucking get over that. But they kicked him out. Well, he left. I say kicked him out because it's a joke. He left, and then Tom DeLonge, which is the original, was like, "Don't waste your time on me." The one who says
I'm already a voice inside my head.
That guy is Tom DeLonge, and the one who says, "I miss you," that's Mark Hoppus.
Okay.
So Tom DeLonge left the band, and then what had happened here? I'm just gonna give you guys this whole fucking history lesson. So what had happened was Mark Hoppus had cancer, and when he had cancer, Tom and Mark made up. They like became best friends again. Mark ended up beating the cancer, and then they're like, "Hey, we're cool again. Why don't we get the band back together?" And that's what happened. So they released an album. They're making an album, and they released 2 songs from their album earlier this week. And one of them was like this song saying like, it's a sweet song, but I think it's one of those songs you won't really care about unless you know the history of the band. And like, again, I'm like a big fan, so of course I know the history, but it's like they're saying like it shouldn't take like a plane crash and for one of us to get cancer for us to like be friends. I miss you guys, this and that. And it's a big like it kind of sounds like they're kind of like jerking each other off, if you will, a little bit, And but it's a sweet song. It's a sweet song nonetheless, but I'm like this was made for like a very specific group of people. And I felt like I was one of those specific group of people, And then they made
it was like a reward for like fans that have been following.
Yeah, this was my Ahsoka. And so
you just say that because I love Ahsoka. And I feel that's appropriate.
And so then there was another song they made, which was it wasn't like, like, hey, here's a deep dive into the band's history. It was just like, punk rock, this Blink, And I was listening to it and I was like, wow, this song's actually really fucking good. Like the other song kind of like had me a little bit in my feels, but this one I was like, oh shit, this is really really good. So I'm excited to
Hmm.
see the rest of the album that comes out. I think it comes out in October or some shit. I don't remember, but it's coming out soon. And as for what I've been watching, I've been kind of all over the place with stuff I've been watching.
Hmm.
Mainly Hulu shows, to be honest. I've been watching Solar Opposites. I've been getting my way through the latest season. And I was talking about it with Elizabeth because they replaced the guy, I forget his name. I think Dan Harper.
Justin.
Just
No, Dan Harmon is like a writer.
no, that's
They
Community.
replaced Justin Roiland.
Yeah.
No, Dan Harmon's also in that. Dan Harmon has his like hand in a lot of stuff. But it
Oh,
was
okay.
Justin Roiland, the voice actor,
Yeah, there we
who's
go.
like blah 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 blah, all
So
that stuff.
they Justin Roiland was one of the main
Mm-hmm.
aliens in Solar Opposites, and they replaced him with the guy from, I forget his name at the
Mm-hmm.
top of my head. But if you guys ever seen Legion, which is a really good show by the way, I stopped watching after like
Mm-hmm.
season two or three, coincidentally when they got canceled. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy who took over his voice, and they made it very apparent because he's a British dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
they embraced the joke that like, oh, this isn't the same guy anymore. And I was talking about it with Elizabeth, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, hey, how do you feel about the new voice actor? And she was like, honestly, and she felt this, I felt the same exact way. She was like, she said something along the lines of like, honestly, like it doesn't really change the show. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
still the same show, it's just different voice. That's it. Like they capture the guy, like they do a good job at like keeping true to the nature of the
Like
show.
the writing is the same. It's just
Yeah,
that the voice actor is
that's it.
different.
That's literally the only change. And I really enjoy it, and I think it's good so far. I'm like maybe at the midway point of the most recent season, and I've also been watching the latest season of Futurama, which is a lot of fun. If you guys haven't watched
Mm-hmm.
it, it's very like, I think they took a little bit of the South Park route where they. Then again, I haven't watched the other Futurama seasons, but this one's very topical. They talk about COVID, they talk about Amazon, they talk about like canceling, they talk about a lot of stuff that's like very very
Mm-hmm.
topical, and I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
when especially animation does that because it's like, it's commentary, so I really do like that stuff. And also I've been watching the last season of Archer, and Archer is a show that I grew up on. I've been watching that since I was in middle school, and Archer
Mm-hmm.
has a very special place in my heart. That and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I grew up watching those shows, and they have a very special place in my heart because it's like I grew up on them, and like I learned, for better or worse, I learned a lot from these shows. And seeing this last season is really nice, but my biggest complaint of this last season so far is that it doesn't feel like a last season because
Mm-hmm.
there's like no, in regards to the show right now, there's no sense of direction, and that's cool. I'm fine with that, but it's like, how are you gonna wrap this all up now? Like I feel like they're a little bit more than halfway through the season right now, and I'm like, oh, how are you gonna end it? I don't see this ending
Mm-hmm.
anytime soon. So that's my biggest fear, is that like they're not gonna wrap it up nice and neat. And then also too, I was talking about it with Elizabeth yesterday. I got sad because again, I grew up on Archer. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks that a strike is going on right now because I'd love to hear what the fucking voice of Archer and the whole cast. I'd love to just kind of hear them talk about it and like, oh, here's what we think about this and that, or like this episode we did this. I'd love to fucking get a deep dive of that, but we're not gonna get it right now because they're striking, and that's really unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unfortunate they're striking, but it's unfortunate that I can't do this, or I can't get
Mm-hmm.
this hypothetical content. But yeah.
No, I get that because like if you're the type of person that loves like creator interviews or voice actor
Hmm.
interviews, like we're not getting any of that right now for anything. And for those that like are really love to go in depth, you kind of feel the effects of that strike because like they can't speak. They really can't
Hmm.
because if they do, they'd break kind of the code going on with but so I understand it, but I'm just like I feel the absence.
Yeah, and that's what's going on right now. But and in addition to all of that, I've just been fucking working. So
Mhm.
to give you guys a peek behind the curtain of what I've been doing, it is right now is like fucking it's a video game season. All the banger video games that like all the studios hold out because they want to get like Game of the Year award are all coming out now, because this is like
Mhm.
in movie season, they have like fucking the Grammy. What's the What's the one that movies win? That big award? Oscar.
Oscars.
There we go. Yeah, this is Oscar season for video games. And all the studios are like, all right, let's release our fucking the games that we know are gonna sell a gazillion billion dollars, you know? And so
Mm-hmm.
for IGN, I'm part of their guides team, as you all may or may not know. And they IGN hit me up and they're like, "Hey, Louis, what games do you want to work on?" And I was like, "Oh, I want to work on these games." And they're like, "Okay, well, we'll get to you when we get to you then." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds good. You know, nothing out of the normal." But here's the big thing. Usually, I get a code a couple weeks in advance. For
Mm-hmm.
this has been the case. I for Mortal Kombat, I didn't get a code until like a week before the game came out, and I didn't even get a code at all.
Oh wow.
I had to buy the game myself, and they're gonna reimburse me. So I was just like, ah,
Mm-hmm.
fuck. I was like, this kind of sucks, but whatever. And but the part that's really unfortunate about this is that the section of the guide I'm working on is arguably the most intuitive out of everybody else because
Mm-hmm.
I have to play every single character and I have to learn them all.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the part that I'm really stressing about. This is the part I'm currently stressing about. Like I have the game paused and I'm looking at the screen right now as I'm talking to you. I have to go through every single character and then input all their combo commands and all their special moves, all whatever they can do. I'm in charge of inputting every single one on the website. But then the thing is too is that this game is available like on 4 different platforms. So I have to put the inputs for PC, I have to put the inputs for PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. So you can kind of see how that takes a little while, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's like 30 some characters, so I have to go through all of them right now. And I've been doing this for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that too, there's a DLC for Cyberpunk coming out on Monday. Was I think when this drops, and I'm on that Cyberpunk team to cover some stuff. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
even touched it. I've had access to that DLC for about like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I haven't even touched that shit because I've just been doing Mortal Kombat, and I've been a little salty. Again, I'm not talking shit on my editors or anything. I've just been a little salty because I'm like, if I got this code just a little bit earlier, I would have been virtually done already, and I could have been jumping on that. And then what was interesting is that like at this particular moment in my life, I have a lot going on in regards to work. I am working on these guides. I'm trying to do like stories, like weekly stories, so I can get paid on a regular basis. And I also have this headset that came in. I'm blanking on the name at the top of my head. It's literally on the other side of the room. But the studio sent me this headset to review. So I have to do a review, I have to do a couple guides, and then I have my day job on top of that. So all of that going on, I have a full plate of stuff. Like I haven't streamed in like 2 weeks, like Starfield in about 2 weeks now. And I want to play Starfield, but I can't. I just can't because I got work to do, you know? And IGN hit me up and then they were like, "Hey Luis, we know you're on the Cyberpunk team, but we want to give you extra work, and we'll throw an extra $250 your way to do XYZ." And this is the
Mm-hmm.
first time I've ever told IGN no,
Oh
because
wow.
yeah, like usually whenever they offer me more work or they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this on top of that?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's get it, let's get it." But this is the first time I've ever told them no. I was like, "Hey, you know, thanks for the offer, but respectfully, I'm gonna have to decline." And I explained to them, I was like, between XYZ, I have a full plate, and I don't think I can take on another project. And I think my editors got a little disappointed in my answer just because they never followed that up with like, "Oh, thanks for letting us know." They just kind of left me on red, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Yeah, you're a little annoyed by my response," but I'm like, I just can't take on the extra work right now.
Did
And
you when you answered them back? Did you make it clear that like I'm just swamped with all this
yeah,
work? Yeah.
I specifically said I have too many projects going on right now.
You know, I don't think they should be mad
I don't
because
think they're
it's better
mad. I
that
don't like yeah. I
yeah,
don't think they're mad, but I think like they were banking
like
on me
slightly
saying yes.
annoyed.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure they were banking on me saying yes. But it's even more funny too because like I just got so much going on right now. Like this has been the busiest I've ever been in like a hot minute.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm sorry. That was a long-winded answer to how I've been. What about you?
You know, we're used to that. Don't worry about it.
Mhm. What about
Plus, I like being informed on your life.
What about you, Noah?
It's almost like I
What's
care about you or something.
God damn it! I said, what about you, Noah? How you been? What's new?
Speaking of which, how's your I just keep changing the subject. Nothing, everything's fine. I just started a new job at a valet company at a hospital, which
Yeah, I
is
work with you.
very exciting. Yeah, we work together.
That's my
Uh
day job.
and that's his day job. I think it's very interesting to see how everyone operates differently.
So the
Mm,
last shift I did,
okay.
this isn't interesting for the listeners at all, but the last shift I did, I was in charge of, kind of doing my laps around the hospital, making sure shit worked, and
Mhm.
halfway through my and for the listeners, they give us for what I was doing in particular, we have a golf cart, and the golf cart goes slow as fuck. It goes insanely
Mhm.
slow. And then at first I was stressing out because I was like, fuck, I gotta hurry up, this and that. And then
Mhm.
I was getting a little annoyed and I was like, wait, it's not sunny, it's not hot anymore. It's like a crisp, like 70, 73, 74. Feels good to be outside right now, you know? And I was like, you know
Mhm.
what? My boss ain't gonna yell at me. He knows this golf cart's going slow. He makes fun of it all the time. It's not my fault. So I just decided to blast some music and I was vibing around the hospital, bro. It was a nice shift. Sorry, go on.
No, it's sorry, I was drinking water. No, it was a lot of I'm enjoying it a lot. It's interesting with all the different personalities. Plus, the car I have is a 2007 Saturn Vue. So, like, I'm driving like Teslas and like very nice cars, and it's just so surreal to me to have to like learn on the fly how to drive stick shift
Wait, you drove stick
and
already?
how to. I think so.
Okay, because I have yet to get a stick shift car.
They're a lot more rare nowadays than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I drove 1 or 2, I think, and it was just luckily they had, like, the instructions on top. It wasn't the one where it was, like, a ball and you had to, like, switch it around. That's a bit of an older model. But, yeah, it's fine. I'm enjoying it. It's nice to have, reliable, steady income because I know that's why you got that job simply because
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about in the past that freelance work can be inconsistent,
Yes,
and you're
very.
just busy now because it's kinda funny. I always associate games dropping with, like, football season. 'Cause it always comes, like, in the fall that a bunch of games drop also, so, like, I associate the 2. So, you're gonna be busy for a hot minute, I know that
Yeah.
for sure. But aside from that new job, I just started a new book called, Vampires of El Norte, which is like this it's this drama in 1840s Mexico where, like, it's the war when, America was trying to take Texas from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that whole battle, and, like, it's people on, vaqueros, like Mexican cowboys, like them and their ranch, they're fighting back, and during the whole conflict, there's, like, vampires running around, like, killing people, so they have to
Mm-hmm.
fight them.
And do they
This whole thing,
did
it's
they kiss?
very interesting. No, this vampire is very much like the creature vampire, like, you can't reason with them, they're like monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kinda, like, eliminates the whole, "Can we kiss them?" Like, no, they will eat you. They are like monsters. They will not fuck you. I'm sorry. But, I've been reading that. It's a very good book. One of my favorite rap duos, Joey Valance and Bray, they dropped a brand new album. They're like
The white boys,
modern day
right?
Beastie Boy. Yeah, well, I think the other one's, Asian American, I believe. But, yeah, they dropped an album called Punk Tactics. It's one of their bigger albums. I'm very proud of them. I'm very happy. I enjoy their music a lot. So they dropped an album. So go check it out. And nothing much really. I think like you, I've been watching Futurama, but just like little tidbits. Like I haven't finished the full season. I've been really enjoying Fiona and Cake, the Adventure Time spinoff.
Elizabeth has talked a lot about that.
It's funny because I think we made a joke a few episodes ago about like, oh, multiverse is the hot shit. Like, oh, everyone's doing multiverse now. And we did like a whole thing. But this is multiverse and it weirdly works
Uh-huh.
simply because like the Adventure Time universe is so unique and there's so many different what if aspects you can play with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, from what I put together, and I know nothing about Adventure Time, is that
Mhm.
Fiona a Cake is like a book within Adventure Time or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're fan fiction.
Okay, okay, okay. That like they're not even necessarily like real.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's the extent of what
mhm,
I know.
that's basically what I don't need to spoil anymore. That's basically what it's about. They're fan fiction characters that shouldn't exist. So like the universe is just like, you gotta be deleted. And they're like, no, we deserve the right to live. And that's what it's kind of about.
I remember Elizabeth was like, "Oh, I think you'd really like Fiona and Cake. Like, it's a cool show." And I'm like, "All right, that's cool." I got no interest in
And you're
watching it.
like, sure, babe.
I
No, give me a beer. And then
yeah,
you
I'm like,
slap
"Shut
her.
up, woman."
Oh my god, I was joking.
Yeah, you were already there. I just crossed the
I was
finish line
already
for you.
there. You did. I gave you the baton and you ran through.
She was like, "Oh, I think you'd really like Fiona and Cake." I'm just like, I have no. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And she was like, "But if you," and then
Mhm.
she told me this, and I was like, "I'm definitely not gonna watch it with you now." Um, she was like, "Oh yeah, but if we watch it together, we got to watch it every Thursday because I don't miss a single episode every Thursday. I watch it. I'll watch it with or without you." And I'm like, "I never said I was gonna watch the show to begin with, but now
You're
I'm."
just like, I'm okay.
Yeah, I was like, "But now I'm definitely not gonna watch this fucking show."
You know, it's a good binge.
I just
So you
don't
can
care.
always
I feel like
binge.
I missed like
Yeah.
I didn't have cable growing up, so I completely missed
Mhm.
all of that. And I was just like, it's all right. Like
Oh,
the art
dude,
style looks
same.
weird. The only show in Adventure Time that I have an interest in watching in, it's because every time I see a clip, it makes me laugh. Is with Catbug. Have you ever seen? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's something similar but different.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's like a YouTube show now or something, or it is a YouTube show that like that
Yeah, it was a
finished.
YouTube show.
Yeah, so I want to watch that because every time I see a clip of Catbook, he's always saying some out of pocket shit that makes me laugh. So I'm like, I'll watch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I like how it truly is just like they just have some like 4-year-old. I think he's like a 6-year-old in the studio. Like it's not a grown adult, it's
Oh,
just
that's
a
a kid.
6-year-old going, yeah, that's a literal kid. That's why it sounds so cute because it's like they have a literal like child voice actor in the booth just saying
That's
stuff.
even more fucking funny.
But I believe it's produced by the same studio.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that's the
the same
connection.
animation quality and all that. It's like it looks
I
roughly the
believe
same.
Federator Studios, I believe. But yeah, no, it's a fun time.
Would you say
But
it's an adventure time?
no, it's an epic time.
You
That
know,
was bad. I'm not gonna cut that.
I saw a tweet that you did that made me laugh,
Mhm.
and
All right, this better.
I
Is it? Did it? Was it funny, or
oh
were you just like, this
really
is
quick.
funny
Why
too?
did you block my
Okay,
tweet where
here.
I said "shut up, nerd"?
Oh, I thought it was funny. I thought you were gonna say something about it. I was like, oh, he didn't notice.
I noticed it like a day later, and I was like, "This motherfucker!" Like
I
it was already
know.
it was too late to bring up at that point, you know.
Mhm. I was fully expecting you to be like, "Why are you blocking my tweets, bitch?" or something like that. I was waiting for that.
here's the thing. I can't go full bully mode on Twitter anymore, but I saw when
Mhm.
I saw that, I was like, "This motherfucker outplayed me." Like that's exactly what I thought. But yeah, so I gotta give you kudos to that. I've been meaning to bring that up with you. But I saw you tweet out something. It was like because people are like, "Oh, now that enough time has passed, like say something nice about the Batman movie or you know shit like that." And
Uh-huh.
then someone was like, "Say something good about the current Spider-Man run." And you're just like, "No."
That was funny.
I will say this:
I'm funny.
the parts I've been seeing with like the latest Spider-Man, run, it looks good. It looks like it's actually getting good now. So I'm excited about that. I
I
haven't.
love that for you. Is that like one of the things you hate the most that I say?
Yes.
I know I have certain phrases that you just hate.
Uh-huh. That's one of them for
Is that one
sure.
of them?
But
I'm just like, I love that for you.
I like the new I like the idea of Spider-Man's like taking the
Mhm.
gloves off and he had the symbiote suit in his closet the whole time just waiting. He's just waiting for some motherfucker to test him. So I like that a lot and I'm excited for him to go full goblin mode. I got
With literally,
I got that on my pull list. I'm waiting for it.
I don't know. Hashtag not my Spider-Man. Am I right?
Yeah, I was gonna make an edgy joke, but that's old Louis. That's old Louis who
That
would
is
make that.
old. You've evolved. You're stronger. Don't fall back, Lewis. Don't do it, Lewis. No.
The symbiote comes up on me right now. I feel it.
Hey guys, this is editor Noah right here. I had to cut 5 minutes of Lewis saying slurs, so you guys missed it.
All right, okay. What happened, man? I blacked out for a minute.
he he just went on a rant. He started yelling about Kanye and Elon, and he just said a bunch of. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't
Okay, but go on. So we're say fuck. Okay, what are we talking about? We brought
We're
Spider
talking
Man.
about Fiona.
Oh, okay. That's how we got here.
We,
Okay.
Fiona King. It's fine. It's fine.
So other than that,
But
what else have you been doing?
oh my gosh, I'm very excited. I'm telling everyone right now
You
to
say that as
go
a yawner.
to.
I'm very excited.
No, I'm, very, I'm so excited. I'm just start sleeping. I'm very excited to talk about Wonder Woman #1, but with
The Dawn of
art
DC,
by
right?
Dawn of DC. Dawn of DC is like they do several like phases where they like try to boost sales with like different waves of books, and this is one of them.
Wait, hold on. Time
So
out,
it's
time
not
out.
a yeah.
How does Night Terrors play into all of this? Because I know that
It
was
was
like
just
a
a mini
big.
event.
So was it just them taking a nap? Was that like the whole thing? They all just fell asleep at the same time?
It was like Dream Monsters type of. If you like Dead Man, the character Dead Man's involved a lot.
Man, fuck Dead Man. He's only cool in
Yeah,
Injustice.
honestly, I don't care for it. I
Yeah.
don't care for
I
it.
like
It
the.
kind of like
Oh, go for
mhm.
it.
I said it kind of like pause. It came out of nowhere. I'm just like,
Yeah, that's what I.
babe, you just
That's the
started
vibe
in.
I get from.
I just like, first of all, you can see my tweets at Noah is Garcia on Twitter.com. I just tweeted about how
Oh, that reminds me
fucking
about
Night
something.
Terrors. What it remind you of?
When you've been copying and pasting our links across the board, they
Mhm.
haven't been working. It's like half a link.
Oh damn. Okay, I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that. It's okay. No one's clicking on our links anyways.
Damn.
No, the event Night Terrors interrupted Dawn of DC. So like there were two issues out of the new Titans book, and then it was Night Terrors for 2 months. And I'm just like, babe, you just interrupted the flow of these
Yeah,
comics.
there was absolutely no
Mhm,
fucking point of it whatsoever. It's just like the whole premise of Night
mhm,
Terrors too, just to give like non-comic book readers an idea, is that again, I don't know shit about it. I've just been like what I've read
mhm,
online is that like they all fall asleep and they just have nightmares. That's it.
mhm.
That's
And then the nightmares
literally it.
become real.
Yeah. And
And I'm
not
also
even
like,
everyone
babe.
had it too. It was
Mhm,
like a specific group of characters.
mhm. And I'm very much like, babe, DC, why didn't you do this in October?
Yes.
It's a scary event. Why didn't you do this in October? What is happening? Like I was just so confused.
That was my whole thing too. I'm like, you're kind of jumping the gun a little bit on this. James Gunn.
Oh my god. He only tweets out comics when when people bring it to his attention.
Yeah, when
I
they're
bet he has like a whole bookshelf of comics that he hasn't read. He's just like, oh yeah, I love all these. He hasn't even
I
opened
feel
them.
attacked because I haven't even read my final Daredevil issue before like they
Oh
reboot
my
it.
god.
I have a lot of comics I haven't
You
read.
know, but you do read them.
Yeah, I do.
I'm making a bad joke about James Gunn not reading comics. You at least read comics. But I'm very excited. The Wonder Woman #1 stars controversial writer Tom King, illustrated by Daniel Sampre, colored by Tumoe Moe, and lettered by Clayton
Why do
Cowles.
people not like
It's
Mr. King?
I think people have they have very differing opinions on his writing. Some people like some of the stuff he can pull off. Other people say that it's like poorly executed, and it's just in the comic community. There's a lot of divisive opinion. I
Man,
think
comic
he's sort
fans are
of the right.
annoying.
Mhm. Yeah, no, 100% they are, and I count myself among them. But yeah, so it's very controversial. Not him, not the book, but the book is very good. I'm very excited. The premise, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but
I
the
can't.
premise of this.
I'll go for it.
Mhm. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, I get to speak. Okay, great. Uh,
Just gonna ignore that.
okay, the premise of this book is that a mysterious Amazon is accused of mass murder. She kills like 10 people, right? Or something like that, right?
Oh, they're barely
And
doing this
then,
now.
yeah, it's fine. That's what I'm saying. Night Terrors interrupted everything. Uh, Night Terrors interrupted the flow of all the fucking comics. Fuck that event. Uh, just kidding. I love everyone involved. Please hire me. After Amazonian is accused of mass murder, Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act. Now, this is important because the Themyscira and Amazons over the recent years through like books like Nubia and the Amazons and other events and stuff, they're deciding to like be more active agents. They're sort of being like a UN Peace Corps type thing, like going around the world. And there have been several Amazons that have like come to the US soil to live there. So it's like this big, it's sort of like an immigration story where they're passing like where Congress is passing the Amazon Safety Act, barring
Sounds
all the
like
Amazons from
X-Men.
US soils. A little bit X-Men. So it's like they're banning everyone and like if you resist, they'll fucking kill you. Like they're shooting people. Like there's this horrifying panel where these two Amazonian women are like living in America and they have like an adopted daughter. And the guy's just like, oh, we got to get you out of here. And the woman's like, well, what about my daughter? She's a U.S. citizen. We adopted her. And like the U.S. agent people are being so sketchy. They're like, don't worry about it. You can talk about it with this. And it's a whole thing. And they try to fight back and they're just murdered, just straight up murdered. It's like horrific. It's a horrific scene. It's executed very well. And it's sort of a mystery where Wonder Woman is like figuring out like who is the person manipulating all this bullshit? Who is the Amazonian woman who's accused of mass murder? Like, so it's sort of like a mystery. She's going around America. So it's sort of like a back to basics. What does it mean to be Wonder Woman? What are her values? And what people want to oppose that like fuck. You know, the thing is that theme song, it was so good and it was
That's
like
who
one of
it
the best
wasn't.
things about her, and then it just got overplayed. And now it's a fucking meme. And now it's a meme. But yeah, if you guys are ever interested in comics, especially in the character of Wonder Woman, now is a fantastic time to jump into it. Number one, you don't need to know anything about her. You can just pick up the comic. I got it. It's great. I highly recommend.
I'm happy for you, Noah. I'm happy someone's
Thank
enjoying it.
you. The thing is, I don't get upset when people say that to me because I'm like, yeah, I am happy. Thank you. Like, thank you for telling me. I am happy about it. What is it? What is that Randy Marsh line? Did you guys enjoy the quarantine special? No, only you, Randy. No, that was my main audience, anyways. Like, you know what I'm talking about? That
Uh-huh.
that plays in my head whenever I enjoy something just for me. It's like, yeah, I'm happy. So that was my main rant of the day because we both had a rant. So that was my rant of the day.
Okay. So yesterday was Elizabeth's birthday, my girlfriend's birthday.
Uh
She turned 24, and I have some. I'm gonna recap. I'm gonna review her birthday.
huh.
So
Okay, tell us all about it.
okay. Here's the funny part. So um, we went to the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, and for those who are unaware, the Laugh Factory is it's just a comedy house. That's all it is, where they have comedians come in and tell jokes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we had went to the Laugh Factory, because there's a couple of them, at least here in Southern California. There's one in Hollywood. We went to the one in Hollywood a handful of years ago, like maybe like 4 years ago, give or take. I've been with her for a very long
Mm-hmm.
time. Some would say too
Oh.
long, and so
Oh my god.
and so we went there, and the biggest complaint we had was that all the comedians there are old. And when I say old, I
Mm-hmm.
mean like 35 and up, you know? And they're all just kind of making the same jokes like, oh, the kids these days, youth these days, it's just in different fonts. The jokes are funny, but it's just kind of the same thing. Like when we were like for her birthday yesterday, there was every single comedian was like, man, kids and TikTok these days, and everyone was like, ha 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 ha, and we heard the same TikTok joke like 4 fucking times for 4 different fucking comedians. And even the host was like, man, kids and their TikToks, and I'm just like, man, like, come on, bro, like, we get it. And then they're like, I don't understand youth anymore. They're so weird, and like everyone's a lot more older than us. We were the youngest people in that room,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was just laughing like, yeah, kids are weird. And then there was this like old white dude who was like,
Mm-hmm.
kids are sensitive, and he was like going on about like all like I'm not gonna like put him on blast, but he was kind of getting a little like not racy but like phobic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh god, bro, you sound so fucking, I'm so ignorant, you know? And he was like, people are just
Mm-hmm.
sensitive nowadays. You can't make the same jokes you used to make. And other comedians were saying that too, like, oh, you got to be so conscientious now. And I'm like, God, y'all sound so fucking old. So yeah, that was my big thing. And I was like, We need younger comedians. That's what we need. We just need younger
That's
comedians.
crazy because I've seen like videos of the Laugh Factory on like YouTube, and it seems like they have some funny comedians.
Oh, they do for sure. Like there was
Hmm.
like they were funny, but none of them flowed together, you know?
Hmm.
And then what one thing that I found particularly funny was that my neighbor caught me as I was like leaving the house, and she was like, "Oh, hey, what's up? What are you guys doing today?" And then we're like, "Oh, it's her birthday. We're gonna go yada yada yada," you know. And my neighbor
Hmm.
was like, "Yeah, like one comedian I really want to see is Dave Chappelle. Like that's he's been on my bucket list." I didn't want to be, I had the same response. Trust me,
Yeah, you
but
didn't want to say anything. You're just
I
like,
didn't want to say
yeah.
anything, and I was like, Dave Chappelle was funny as shit. I'm just being cordial.
Hmm.
I'm like, old Dave Chappelle was funny. I don't know about new Dave Chappelle, and well, current Dave
Hmm.
Chappelle, I should say. And I was just like, yeah, Dave Chappelle's funny, blah 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 blah. She's like, yeah, I really want to see him, this and that. And I was like, okay, whatever. And as soon as me and Elizabeth hop in the car, we're like, really, Dave Chappelle? Like, and so, anyways, I'll tell you why that's important to the story. So we go to the Laugh Factory, and then once we're there, there's this trans woman who comes up, and being trans is like a big part of her bit and everything. And she gets all
Hmm.
political. She talks about like Rudy Giuliani, Trump, just very very topical. And almost all of them too talked about like lockdown, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm gonna go on a sidebar, and I'm like, honey, like lockdown was like 2 years ago. Like
Hmm.
you're all kind of telling the same joke, I was like, come on, come up with new
Hmm.
material. I didn't want to be that guy, but like I'm like, come on. But anyways, back
Yeah.
back to what I was saying about the trans woman. Okay, so let me before I tell her story, I didn't notice this until my girlfriend pointed it out. So I'm gonna give you a sense of direction. Okay, I'm sitting right in the middle. Now, if you look to my left and it's their stage right, so there was this like group of people that were from Nevada. It was like this white boy, slicked back hair, and he had like the little black piercings in his ear. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
He had those little black ones. And there was this girl, lighter skin. She maybe looked Hispanic, and she had like a hoodie that like said Nevada. And then right next to them was they're part of the same group. It was this couple, white man, white woman, and as soon as the trans woman comes up, she's like, "Hey, blah blah blah." She was like, "I see some of you guys trying to like figure out who I am, this and that. Like, oh, I'm a trans woman. I'll fuck you. You can fuck me, but I'm gonna fuck you too." Like, she's doing all these jokes. And it's funny. It's funny. I'm laughing, this and that, blah blah blah. Elizabeth like kind of like knocks on the table to get my attention, and I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" She was like, "Hey, you see that couple, right? Like that group of people, the one I just described to you guys."
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
she's like, I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" She's like, "They look mad as fuck." And
Oh.
and then I was like, "Wait, what?" And and she was like, "Yeah, like the second she entered like the stage, like they just look so fucking mad." And especially too cuz like she's a trans woman, and I could only imagine. Now, this is me just kind of reaching at this point, that they're like Republican, because a big part of her jokes were like like poking fun at Republicans. And
Hmm.
the whole time, like I see that white dude with like the little ears pierced. He's just dogging her the whole time. And then like what I could presume is his girlfriend, the one that was wearing the Nevada hoodie, is just on
Hmm.
her phone the whole time. And like the other couple there just kind of like trying to be nice, but those two look so fucking mad. And I was like, God, like I saw the embodiment of hate right there, you know?
Hmm.
And I
At a
was,
comedy club. How ironic.
yeah. And then what was even more funny was that afterwards this white dude
Hmm.
comes up and he's like, "Yeah," and then they're laughing their asses off. That same
Hmm.
couple. But let me rewind. Let me rewind. I went on a whole thing. So I brought up Dave Chappelle for a specific reason. So she so what had happened was, and now let me do some explaining. Back when Dave Chappelle was like first getting back into the limelight, when he was starting to align himself more with the Republican Party, people were saying that allegations came out against him that he was like transphobic and he's just a big piece of shit, yada yada yada, right? And
Hmm.
it's been a few years, so I'm probably getting a few details wrong on it, so I apologize if I do. But he was like, "Hey, how are you gonna call me transphobic if I have a trans friend and me and her are like we're tight, like she goes on tour with me, I hook her up with jobs, like
Mm-hmm.
we're as close as they come. Like how can I be transphobic? And because he said some like out of pocket transphobic shit, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
so even the trans person's family. Now this is the part where I'm like where my information gets a little murky because it's been a few years now. Um, even the trans person's family was like, yeah, no, Dave Chappelle treats us good. Like he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And so the trans woman comes up and she was like, yeah, I was on tour with my good friend Dave Chappelle. And then I shit you not, I heard like at least one or two of the people in the crowd go, "Oh," and that's when it clicked in like three of our heads exactly who she was. And like throughout the whole like her whole bit, she brought up Dave Chappelle a few more times and tried to be like, "Oh yeah, he's my boy." And I thought that was really interesting. That I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've read about you. I just didn't like I didn't know who the fuck you were though." I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was really interesting, like that happened. But
That is interesting because like like people aren't a monolith. Like one
mhm,
person can't represent the opinions of every other person in a group.
yeah,
Like that's how we have like gay Republicans. You know what I mean?
mhm.
We have trans people that do support Dave Chappelle, and there's just all kinds of flavors of people.
But yeah, that's what had happened right there, and I just found it really interesting. And I was even kind of explaining to Elizabeth like a little bit during her set. I was like, yeah, like this is so and so. She's like, oh fuck, that's her. And I was like, yeah, this is her. And I thought that was like really interesting because like she had her like 15 minutes of fame during that time, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, but going back to the whole spiel, of the comedians at large, they were all just kind of old, you know. Like I'm like, give us some younger talent.
Is
That
that just you think that's just the demographic of the Laugh Factory right now? Is like older people?
probably, and also too, like Long Beach, the Pike was dead for a Friday night. Like that shit was
Hmm.
not popping at all. And
Damn, Long Beach, get it together.
yeah, but yeah, that was my biggest complaint was that everyone was a little too old, and they were all more or less kind of telling the same jokes in different fonts. Like, but there were still good times. Like I was still laughing, but I was like, come on, man, like spice it up because none of them really flowed good
Hmm.
together. They were.
Also, if you think they know each other, they would be like, sorry.
Mhm.
If they know each other, you think they'd be like, "Oh, I know Bob has a COVID TikTok joke, so I better choose a different joke." Like,
Yeah.
don't repeat what your other guys are doing. Like, you guys should be aware of each other's acts.
100%.
Like you would think.
Mhm.
I don't know. Who knows?
It's show business, baby. Nobody knows. Dun, dun,
Nobody
dun, dun, dun,
knows.
dun.
Everyone's just improving.
But yeah, that was it right there.
What else you guys do?
Oh, what else did we do? Okay, so for like the day, we did like during the morning and afternoon, we didn't really do much. We I was just working,
Mhm.
but we after we went to the Pike, before we did that. I went to my grandma's because I had a something get dropped off over there. I went to go pick up, and then
Mhm.
after that, we kind of walked around the Pike for a little bit, kind of figuring out what to do next. And we went to Bubblegum Shrimp that was like down the block. Essentially, like you just gotta walk across the street and you're right there. And
Mhm.
so I went there and we ate food. Afterwards, came home, walked our dog, and then fell asleep.
That
And
sounds nice.
now tonight we are going. If you guys ever watched the show Workaholics with the Workaholics crew and cast, I'm
Mhm.
blanking on their name. God damn it. That one dude, Adam Devine or Devine, whatever the fuck. He's the most
Oh,
popular.
Devine, yeah.
He's the most popular one out of the three. And they are doing a live podcast recording of their thing tonight in Long Beach. So I'm going back to
Okay.
Long Beach tonight. And it's funny because it's like right across the street from the Laugh Factory at the convention center. So we're going back there tonight and I'm gonna go listen to them do a live podcast recording, which I hope it's funny. I've never even listened to their podcast. I didn't even know they had a podcast. So
Mhm.
I very Workaholics is one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's really fucking funny. So I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see how this plays out like in person. But yeah, that's what else we're gonna be doing for like her part of her birthday. And I don't think we're gonna be doing anything on Sunday tomorrow. But
Well,
yeah.
that's nice. A
Hmm.
little birthday weekend for her.
Yeah. But anything else, Noah, that you want to talk about? Because I have some questions for you.
Oh, give me the questions. I have nothing to say.
So in Ahsoka, why does Ezra look like Space Jesus?
That's because he is.
How?
And I asked him if he's gonna forgive your sins, and he said no.
That's okay. I kind of capped out of Star Wars. I was just
You know, the thing is, he's a brown man wearing rags, and everyone calls him Jesus. I have no explanation.
listen. There's more to it than that. Okay. He's a brown
Yeah,
man wearing rags with a
mm.
long bushy beard and long fucking bushy hair. He looks like Jesus.
You know what? The Republicans wouldn't agree with you.
Well, the Republicans think Jesus is white, so
There's a there's a really funny meme where it's like it shows a picture of Obi-Wan and it's just like what people think Jesus looks like, and then a picture of Ezra and they're like what Jesus really looks like.
Fuck,
And
that
it's
sounds
just
funny.
really funny. It's really funny. But I don't know. He's a brown man with a beard who's been living in isolation. That's all I have for you.
And
I think it's funny.
okay,
I enjoy it. There's no
and
explanation.
why?
He's just been stranded on a planet for like
And
years.
if he's been wearing these clothes for like ever, why does Thrawn's fit still look nice and spiffy in the promo pictures I've seen? Like it looks like he
You
just
know, it's kind of interesting because actually, if you zoom in, you notice there's like buttons missing and there's like small tears here and there.
uh huh. I mean, but for
So,
for being
mhm.
isolated on a planet for years, it's in pretty good condition.
Well, he's not out in the fucking field. He's a general. He's like making stuff, but still, his suit did need repairs. Like you can see stitches here and like buttons missing.
Okay.
But Thrawn is a very meticulous character. He's
hmm
very much just like I will learn everything about you and then destroy you mentally and physically. Like he's that type of guy.
And
So, mhm.
who's the new clone trooper that has not clone trooper,
Oh,
stormtrooper?
he's just a cool guy. He's just like a general. He's nothing important.
Oh, okay. I saw him when he has like a golden face. I'm like, this guy looks cool. I don't know what's
Mhm.
going on, but like, all right, that's cool. And like, are those two just like homies on a stranded planet? Like, do they talk to each other? Do they keep
No,
each
they
other?
do not.
Have they been trying to kill each other this whole time, or like, what's going on?
I feel like that's the implication. Because in Ezra's outfit, if you zoom in on it, there's a bunch of like stormtrooper dog tags or something on it, like general tags.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear like they're fighting, but Ezra's probably just been hiding and striking against him. He's very much like blended in, like helping the population.
Also, there's other people on that
And
planet.
no, there's like little crab people. Crab
We are
people.
the crab people.
Crab people. Yeah, so he's just with crab people.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, a lot of the stormtroopers masks have like this weird like golden thing. And Ahsoka, Star Wars in general is inspired by a lot of Japanese culture. But particularly like the gold stuff. Apparently it's like a Japanese aesthetic where like you break pottery and then you mix it with like a gold and like you bring it back up.
Oh
So it's a
yeah,
whole like
they did it in
Japanese influence.
Kylo as well. There's a specific name for that. I forget what it's called.
Mhm.
I learned about it in my class. I should know.
Kin Kintsugi or something, I think is what it is. Because I'm looking at an article because I wanted to talk about it. But it's like breaking down, mending areas of breakage with like gold or like other metals. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting. So I think his face was just like a thing. I think it was just like a fun character thing. He's not like an actual person.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, they're finally at the planet. They finally found Ezra. They finally found Thrawn.
So were they
I
all
have a
like?
few
Did
more
Ahsoka and
concerns.
friends just show up? They're like, "Hey, we're here."
Okay, recap for Ahsoka. So
So it starts in Clone
Sabine
Wars. She's
starts in Clone Wars. I just take an hour recapping everything. So they're looking for a map outside the galaxy. Ahsoka and Sabine find it, and they have a fight. And Ahsoka loses the fight because she's being a dumbass. And this guy Balin just like, oh, you know what? Like, fuck, Sabine, you want to come with us? Like, I'll take you to Ezra. I don't give a fuck. I have higher plans. And Sabine's just like, fuck, literally my entire family is dead. He is like the one piece of my past I still have around. He's my Bucky to my to my Captain America. I gotta go fucking save him. Okay, let's go. So they all jump in the ship together. She's a prisoner, and they get to the ship. They meet Thrawn and his forces, and Thrawn's just like, Sabine, I don't give a fuck. Go find Ezra. We're leaving you. I don't give a fuck. And she's like, okay, great. And she goes to the planet and she finds Ezra, and that was the episode. And
Oh,
Ahsoka's on her way in a whale, Jonah style from the Bible.
I don't think Jonah ever rode a whale.
No, Jonah in the Bible was swallowed by a whale.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
So
like.
she was swallowed
I
by.
was-
Oh, you thought I was talking about Jonah Hill?
yeah, I was like,
Yeah, to hide from those allegation charges, he jumped into a whale and escaped into international waters. No, Jonah from the Bible.
so
She's in a space whale.
so do you think Mando's gonna show up yet?
Fuck, I hope not, because I'll drop that host. It's gonna be like the last second. I'm gonna be like, no.
You know what I really hope. Okay, actually, hold on. I have some things I want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
So we talked about this in person, but you said that the Anakin looks good when they showed him in like Clone Wars armor and stuff.
Yeah, he looks fine.
I gotta
Yeah, he looks
disagree with
fine.
you on that one, champion. The CG
Mm.
look bad in my opinion. Like they
I think it
airbrush
looks fine.
nah. See, this is where I gotta draw the line with you.
It in the weird blue space they're in, yeah, I get that.
Like I saw
But
the
in the
promo.
Clone Wars flashback scenes, I think they look fine.
I saw those scenes and I saw the promo pictures with him, and I was just like, this is a little weird to look at. Like, and here's the thing too, Hayden Christian, he doesn't even like just put on makeup and put on like fucking skin tape, and that would have like done the trick, you know. I'm over here talking like I know what I'm talking
Mhm.
about, but like I just don't think it warranted CGI. Like it looks really
I
weird.
think what you're saying is like less is more. Like you don't have to put that much. Just like let him
Yeah,
be.
because I would argue. No, this is my hot take. I know you're gonna disagree with on here. I would
Mhm.
argue that the Luke looked significantly better than the CG they did on Anakin, because it looked very odd. Like again, if you look at even if you look at the promo pictures where he's in his Clone Wars armor, like
Mhm.
the airbrush they just used on his skin looks too much. I'm like he didn't need all that. Like he's aging pretty well, all things considered, for
Mhm.
like what, like a 40-year-old man or however old he is. And
Mhm.
like I just it didn't look good in my opinion, you know? And I was like, oh man, I wanted to like it, but it just
I think it looks fine. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I think here's my thing too, okay?
Okay.
You call me out if I'm being a little too much. I think you have a
Okay.
bias because it's the Clone Wars and it's Ahsoka. So it's a little bit
Mhm.
it's giving you what you want.
I feel no, because I did say literally like 30 seconds ago. I feel like the scenes where they're in like the blue area, like the blue world, whatever. He does look a bit off. He does look off. His forehead is shiny. I don't care for it. Uh, he looks fine, but he does look a bit off. In
Uh-huh.
I will say that in the flashbacks that they have, I think he looks fine.
Okay.
So those specific blue scenes when they're in the world between world, he looks a little weird. I do get that, but I think in the flashbacks he looks fine. I'm literally gonna send you a picture right now, and you know what? We can disagree, but I just think he looks fine.
I thought Rex looked
Mhm.
cool, but you know, I mean, all you got to do is just put on clone. Like
Yeah, I think
that
that was
wasn't
a
hard.
smart choice
That
because
wasn't
they
hard
didn't
to
show his
do.
face. They
Uh
just
huh.
gave him they gave him the voice credit.
Also,
I thought that
too,
was a smart move.
I'm just gonna wait. Was that the animated one or was that actual?
No, that was Morrison, Boba Fett.
Okay, the real Boba Fett.
Mhm.
Okay, and also too,
I thought that was like, oh, he got an acting credit. Good for you.
I gotta call you out on one of your tweets too.
Oh my
I
god.
had this one stored in the bank for when we record it.
Mhm.
You were saying something along the lines of like, "Oh my god, look at my husband. They look so cool," or like talking about the clones and shit, right?
Mhm.
And then I was gonna screenshot it and be like, "Is this you?" Because literally a day before, you were like, "I appreciate the clones, but we don't need them anymore." And I was like, "Damn,
That's not
Noah."
what I
You
said.
said
I didn't
something
say clones.
along those lines.
No,
You're like, "We need to move on."
no. What I said. Oh my god, you're projecting this onto the universe because people want live action Clone Wars,
Uh huh.
and I said we have the 7 seasons. We don't need live action Clone Wars.
Okay.
That's what my tweet was about.
Okay. That's fair then.
That's what it was about.
I saw that. I was
Because
like,
I'm
this
just like,
motherfucker over here
mhm.
just contradicted himself like a day later.
Yeah, that really is just like people just really want like there are a lot of people that want live action Clone Wars. I'm just like, babe, we have so many seasons of the cartoon. Just watch the cartoon.
I just think here's my biggest thing too. Star Wars just needs to stop fucking leaning on that shit, you know? Give me
Yeah, we need to move
give me
on.
new, give me the Ray era. You know, I know like
Mm-hmm.
misogynists don't like her, but give me the Ray era, or fuck it, just go to like way back and give me like what's that one dude that all Star Wars fans have a boner for? Revan.
Raven,
Yeah, there we go.
Revan
Just give me the Revan story or something like that. You know, that's why I'm excited for Acolyte
isn't.
whenever the fuck it comes out.
I was about, yeah, exactly. I was about to say the acolyte is exciting.
That that's my thing. But you know,
No, I'm right there with you. We need to move on.
also too, my biggest thing is like I was talking about this with Elizabeth. Like I feel a little cynical that like I just don't really care about Star Wars too much anymore
Mm-hmm.
because like I feel like all of the content it's just another way for now this is gonna be like a whole nother tangent, but hear me out. It's just a way for them for Disney just to get more money out of you because they're like, yes, we're just gonna be making all these Disney Plus shows. They're gonna come out like I'm like, oh fuck, like just another service, another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is just a greedy way. Like if you would have made this like a movie or like a trilogy or something like that, that would have been cooler, you know. But like, gotta keep charging me for this shit. I'm sorry, that's my whole.
You don't even have Disney
I know
Plus.
that's why that's a big reason why I don't care for Star Wars anymore because I was like, I'm not gonna pay for Disney Plus, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my big thing. I'm like, fucking Christ. Like if Ahsoka was a movie, that'd be cool. I'd watch that.
Mm-hmm.
If like if some shit or if they just said fuck it, we're just gonna release it on whatever, you know. I just don't like the fact that like I feel like all this content is made specifically for Disney Plus, and it's just the whole like it's just a perpetual cycle of them getting money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't like that. I just do not like that. I don't like corporate greed. I'm sorry.
Well, that's capitalism, baby. I don't know what to tell you.
Gonna burn it all down.
Do it, coward.
Feige, I'm coming for you. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk. All right, I'm just gonna go blow up a building like Johnny Silverhand. No, I'm joking. I'm not gonna do that.
Feige, you're done. Filoni, if you speak, you're also done. So just shut up and make pretty things.
Yeah, you're on thin ice, motherfucker.
You're on thin ice. Just be quiet and keep your head down, and you'll be fine. But if you join them, it's done.
How has his episodes been? Because he recorded, well, he produced like one or two, right? Or directed, I mean.
He's the writer of all the episodes. He directed the first and the one we're talking about with Anakin.
Okay. How many more episodes are left for
And
Ahsoka?
there's like, it's crazy because I feel there's two more, and I feel like there could at least be like five or something.
So it
But
doesn't feel like it's
mhm.
going to be ending anytime soon.
No, I saw a very interesting tweet. I forget who it was by, but it
Diego
was very
Crespo
interesting, and they no,
and Star Wars in this economy.
uh, oh my gosh, he and I are trading. A neutral party to the show, Diego Crespo, said that if I watch Andor, he'll watch Ahsoka. So it's a little unfair because he's making me watch 3 episodes and he'll watch one episode of Ahsoka. But he's just like, oh, that's because the first 3 are an arc, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
Oh God.
Okay,
Okay, I'll tell you this much.
so
Okay.
okay,
I saw.
I know your opinions on it, so go
Yeah,
for it.
I saw it. I saw like the first like. Oh God, it's a slow burner. That's a slow.
You said you found it slow, didn't you?
It's a slow burner. Yeah, it's a very slow burner for sure. But I will say that I've said this multiple times too, and I know I told you this. The scenery for again because I'm a big like cyberpunk Blade Runner fan. I love that aesthetic. So if you like that aesthetic, you'll like the first episode because that's like all it is,
Mm-hmm.
like with the lighting and all that, and it looks really cool. But fuck, is that slow? Is that show slow? Because like they introduced so many people, this and that. Me and Elizabeth were like, "Who the fuck's this guy again? What the fuck's going on now?" You know, and it's just a lot of moving shit.
Yeah. I don't know, so I'll just have to agree with you until I see it. But yeah, I can
I'll be funny
understand.
if you actually do like it. You're like, "Oh my god, this is like
I
peak
might.
Star
I hope I
Wars."
do, because so many people seem. Yeah, a lot of people say that. So I hope it. I hope I do like it. But yeah, this is the tweet I was referring to earlier. Is somebody saying, this is like it verbatim. I think he's like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it feels like the show just got started,
Hmm.
which is interesting because the premise of the show is to go find Thrawn, stop Thrawn from coming back,
Mm-hmm.
slash find Ezra is like the back thing. And I understand the feeling that it just started because we just finally saw them.
Mm-hmm.
But the story is more about, even though that's the goal, the story is more about the development of the characters
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like it's about very much the journey. And
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was necessary, and I wish I had more, especially because the two apprentices, the two bad Jedi,
Yeah, I saw your
Balin and
TikTok about
Shin.
that.
They seem really interesting.
There's gonna be a
And
book about it.
like,
You'll read the
I
book.
hope
You'll tell me
so.
all about it.
Oh yeah, I will.
You'll be like
Star Wars. There's a
during.
lot of good Star Wars literature.
You're gonna be like Luis. During Order 66, they decided to corrupt their crystals. So right before the clones attacked, they were no longer Jedi's. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh no, it's very interesting because during the last episode, Balin was just like, "Oh yeah, Ezra is one of those Boken Jedi that were like out in the wild after the temple fell," and Shin's just like, "Oh, like me, like how we were out in the wild," and he's just like, "No, no, 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 you're not one of those bitches. I trained you to be better," and I thought that was really funny, and I was just like, "Damn, what are you training her for?" And it's like it's very mysterious what his goals are because he's acting like none of this matters. Like Thrawn coming back is just like, yeah, no, I don't give a fuck. I have other things to do. And I'm just like, what things do you have to do, sir? What are your
Go pick up
plans?
those kids from fucking soccer practice. Gotta go clean the house.
I gotta get Starbucks. I
Just
gotta
a
get some
very minimal
dry
topics. He's
cleaning.
like, bro, if
I gotta go. I gotta go to Space TJ
he was
Maxx.
like, Thrawn said he was gonna build the shopping plaza, and I got plans for that shopping
Mhm.
plaza. All right.
Honestly, I've had I've had a $25 gift card to Spencer's that's just been burning a hole in my wallet for
And it
years.
expires next week.
Expires next in the next 4 rotations, so he gotta build that mall quick. And she's just like, "This is why you taught me to use a lightsaber so I could fight off the crowds." And he's just like, "Yes,
Like, see, now it's
we
all coming
moved to
together.
Black Friday. Hire us, Filoni. Look at what we can do."
We came up with the multiverse. Now we're doing
Yeah,
this. Now here's a spinoff. You know.
yeah. Here's your spinoff. Although, I don't know if there's gonna be a season 2 of Ahsoka. I don't know if I want it, but also like the race ripped to the actor Ray who plays Balin. I'm not sure what they would do,
Oh yeah, he
but
passed away.
mhm, mhm.
I mean, they could
But
always
yeah, I'm
just say
enjoying the show.
like, "Oh, he's." I don't know. They could do some bullshit. Would be like, "Oh, he's one with the Force now." I don't know. Some
Mhm. Or some bad guy kills him and shit. It's just like, I don't got a master. Now I gotta be a good guy. Now I gotta be a good guy with you guys. You know what I mean? Like that type of villain thing.
or hear me out, okay? Okay.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
fighting. You see him like duking it out with somebody. That's like you don't see this figure. You mean you don't see this person. You only see the figure. And he pulls out his lightsaber, the red lightsaber, and then this silhouette of
Mhm.
a person. You see he calm and collective. Still don't see much, and he's like pulls out like an equivalent of what's the spear that they were using that the girl used to fight Ahsoka with? What was it called?
It was a Beskar. It was just a Beskar
Oh,
spear.
okay. You see this guy pull out like a Beskar spear. He's like, pew, and he's like blocking. Pew, pew. He's like, the main bad guy's pure offense, pure offense, pure offense, going ham. And this guy's deflecting his like Neo from the Matrix, just blocking every single hit
Mhm.
like it's nothing. And then all of a sudden, he tears off his robe, Yakuza style, like,
Mhm.
and then as he tears it off with his other hand, he grabs his lightsaber, and you see the color purple, and it goes
Oh
right
my
through
god.
him. And then
Oh my
he looks
god.
at him and he's like, "What, motherfucker?" And then it's been
Oh my
it's
god.
been Mace Windu this whole time. He survived the fucking the fall.
Oh my god. Dave Filoni, hire us. That's all I have to say.
I will say this: if you want a cool, like, what if Mace Windu story, they never explicitly say it, but it's him. Um, it's they did. You know how they did like the what if Star Wars on Disney? Well, I forget what it was called,
Mhm.
Stories or Legends, whatever it was called.
It was Visions.
Visions. There we go. So they did one where it was the samurai story,
Mhm.
and in that story, that same samurai fights Mace Windu, and the way they drew it was so fucking cool. Like, you guys should look into it. I think it's just a one shot, like it's a one and done, and he's like
Mhm.
fighting him, and Mace Windu like fucks him up. And then the guy's like, "Aren't you gonna kill me? I'm a Sith." And he's like, "I don't care about that shit anymore, bro. Just live your life. Like, but if you try to fuck, if you try to fuck with me again, I'm just gonna kill you. Like, just learn your lesson."
Mhm.
It's a
You
if
know,
you
I'm still working my way through Visions. I didn't know there was one with Mace Windu in it.
no, it's a comic book. It's the comic book,
Oh, okay, gotcha,
but
gotcha. I thought you were talking about
it's a
okay.
continuation of the story of the first episode, or it's within that same like universe genre, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
But it's that Sith that it follows. and he's like on his journey, and he fights him, and he's like, yeah, like I was a general in the Clone Wars, this and that, blah blah blah, and he pulls out the purple lightsaber, and it looks really really cool. Like I think if you guys do want a Mace Windu story, that's as close as we're gonna get to one. Because he's like blind and all that, and he's like it's like it's very cool, very cool.
Okay.
That I know that okay, that means you're not gonna read, but it's fine.
No, like okay, that's cool.
It's all right.
I like all those memes going around where it's like where it's Yoda fighting Chancellor, and he's just like, get him, motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
and
he
he's
killed our friends.
Yeah, that one.
Did I send that to you?
Yeah, I think you did.
Oh god,
That's very funny.
All right, anything else you want to talk about, Noah?
I think I'm okay.
You sure you're okay?
Yes.
Positive.
I hope so. Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's everything we want to talk about. Let's see here. If you guys have made it this far, thank you for listening. As always, we enjoy you guys' support. Be sure to give us a good thumbs up, like us, and follow us so we can do this full time and eventually get canceled, like Noah says. Noah, if people want to find you online, where can they find you? Because I know it's not in the video description down below.
Oh my God. You can find me at Noah is Garcia on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, I guess. You can find my photography work at Noah Garcia _photography.
Oh, I got a Blue Sky link if you want one. If you want a Blue Sky invite.
I don't know what that is.
It's like another Twitter app. That's all it is.
You know what? Where can people find you, Lewis?
People can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all the social medias. I'm Luis Gutierrez, and you can follow my work on not Instagram. You can follow my work on IGN and GameSpot. If you look up Luis Joshua Gutierrez on Google, my name should pop up for both of those. And you can also find some work I do at a smaller site called Prima Video Game. Well, not Prima Video, it's Prima Games. I also work with them too. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and that's all of it. So I guess I will see you guys next week, unless we cancel.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Unless we cancel. Bye bye.